everyone, good evening. I did my test and this is working. So I am back, and just for a short brief moment, because I'm building this channel, I will just put out very short videos until I get more subscribers, more views, etc. And that's when my videos will become longer, obviously. So what's today's topic? That's a good question. Let's start from the beginning. What's the beginning? The beginning is, where did the DSM come from? Where did it originate? What does the DSM stand for? So we use the acronym DSM, which stands for Diagnostic Manual Statistical Manual, for which it goes on and on, right? But really we just call it DSM. But really it means Diagnostic Statistical Manual. I think I said it backwards last time. So DSM, Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. Let me make sure that's right. Oh, of mental disorders, not for, but of mental disorders. So, all right, now you have an idea what it means. It would be really weird to refer to it as, hey, can you get my diagnostic statistical manual? So DSM sounds better. Um, disorders are referring to the mentality, referring to the mental state, which is different from a syndrome, right? Syndromes are used more for, how can I say, medical doctors term. Let me get an example of a syndrome, because I'm getting shy. My mind is going blank. Oh my god. But um, let me come up with something that's simple, nothing too dramatic. Oh, they put Asperger here? Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's not really a syndrome. I mean, it can or is, but not really in the DSM. We refer to everything as a disorder. So, Down syndrome. But there are other syndromes. Why isn't anything coming up here? Okay, just forget about it. The syndrome versus diagnosis of disorders. Okay, I'm just trying to go somewhere I shouldn't be going. So, all right, let's talk about the history of the DSM. So, it is a book used by healthcare professionals, mainly in the United States. However, they have one where they're trying to blend them. They're trying to make it international, and they are on ICDC codes, etc., which is used for billing. But that's a long story. Some people have these theories as to their, like, everything is being blended in general, everything that we're using, our whole system. So, for example, we use the matrix system that goes by the centimeters and inches versus millimeters, what they use in Europe, and we use foot instead of yard. Well, they use yards or something like that, whatever. But we refer to pounds when we talk about our weight, and they refer to kilos. I remember my friend was telling me, I lost about 5 kilos, 6, 8 kilos, or whatever. I was like, huh? What are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what that means or what it meant. You lost 8 kilos? Like, okay. Anyhow, okay. I used to get so pissed off when my one friend used to always talk about the weather. And he'll say, oh, it's such a great weather. It's 30 degrees Celsius. Or, wait, they go by Celsius or Fahrenheit? Oh my God. Yeah, Celsius. And I used to be so confused. Like, okay, 30 degrees, that's freezing, something like that. Anyhow, before I get lost on a tangent, DSM contains description, symptoms, and other criteria for diagnosing mental disorder. So the good thing about that is that it is what I say, it's our Bible. It gives you everything you need to know as far as the symptoms, what the characteristics are of those symptoms. Wow, my teeth look really white here on this screen. And yes, my eyes maybe a little bloodshot because I'm a little tired. I'm so tired right now. It's late. I've been up. I recorded a few videos and I went live today. And I went to the gym and I went to the sauna and I washed my hair and I'm doing laundry and yeah, whatever. That's life of a single woman. Yeah, even if I wasn't single, I will still do all those things. So I don't know why I'm mentioning that. Just talking crap. All right, so what else do we need to know? You know what's very interesting is that some things that were considered a disorder back in the days are no longer being considered as a disorder now. And then they've constantly made changes. They took things out. They changed it. For example, retardation is not intellectual disability. And now the same with autism. Now it's autism spectrum. And now Asperger was added. And then another thing, the gambling addiction was added. And now some things with some sexual addiction has been added. And also there was some like really controversial things I don't want to get into for like one of the first DSM that was published. Homosexuality was considered a disorder. So that was in a DSM. So that tells you we've came a long way, right? Lots of changes, really interesting changes. And things continue to change because, life change, things change as we evolve, right? We are evolving human beings, human species. We continue to evolve, right? So the main points of the DSM, they have one called the 5TR, are associate features, the prevalence, diagnostic features, specifiers, recording procedures, developmental end course, risk and prognosis factors, culture-related diagnostic issues. So those are just some additional things that were added to the new DSM, which I haven't even bought that one yet, and I'm just like, oh my god, just please, no, it's enough. But it's okay, I have time before it's time to take the exam. They publish maybe every like 5 to 10 years. So I don't think a new one will come out by the time I take my exam. But anyhow, we're currently on the 5th edition. So yeah, only 5. So when was the first DSM published? Why do I keep opening new windows? I don't know. So you like that? I can look at you and type. So the first DSM was published in 1952. Wow, 1952. And this is 2023. Can we put it together? So we got 71 years. Wow. That's a lot, right? 71. Wait, let me see if my math is right. Yeah, that's about right. So, wait, they have another one? APA Committee Nomenclature and Statistics developed a variant of the ICD-6. Well, I don't know what that is. But anyhow, so that was the first. Okay, the first edition was called the ICD-6. Okay, whatever that means. But, so just saying 71 years, they only published 5 editions. So, so that is about it's more than 10 years, just like I said. So yes, at least every 12 years, I would say. No, more than that, not every 15 years. 12 to 15 years approximately. Look, I'm not a statistician, but I am a psychologist in the making. So, I'll leave that up to whoever wants to do the math for me. So anyhow, to give you more information. What is the most common disorders? I told you that already. That came here. 10 million people in America are currently living with mental disorders. Serious mental disorders. 10 million. So that could be the whole entire Los Angeles County. So actually, in a way, that's not a lot of people. We're talking about the entire United States. How many people are here? A lot. Okay. ADHD, definitely, I would consider that very common amongst kids. What disorders have been removed? Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, oh, pain disorder? They changed that. Okay, yeah, they did take that out. Somatoform, undifferentiated. Okay. All right. What are the benefits of the DSM? The reason why this is beneficial, we use it to help people, obviously. So, just say, for example, not knowing the symptoms, then we wouldn't know what to treat, right? So, knowing what you're suffering from, there are specific treatments that can help the person become better and live their best life. Why is there a dark shadow right there? I don't know. Bad lighting. But I don't have a black eye there. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So what is the hardest? I knew it. What do you think is the hardest or the most complicated disorder to live with? You know which one has a bad reputation. We all know that. It's bipolar disorder. Bipolar, excuse my tongue tying, is very complex. There are so many people, but one in particular, Kanye West. Just look at this example as to why bipolar is a complex disorder. And I need to iron this out or something. I don't know why it's so wrinkled there. My poor black girl. Okay. Controversy, yes, controversial. What is the most controversial disorder? Of course, this will be it. It is gender identity disorder. They have also gender dysmorphia, or is that something else? I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I used to, but gender identity disorder. Because I would think because they have this thing, or there's a law. It's very specific. You can't do therapy that's related to gender. I can't even think of the word, but it's whatever it is when they go through the transition. So you can't assist them in that process or something like that. I don't know how. It's like some very specific steps and approvals you have to have in order to provide. Oh, it's conversion therapy. There it is. So conversion therapy is like kind of like serious stuff. So I can understand why this is considered the most controversial disorder. Maybe because it may relate to minors. That's my assumption. It doesn't say details why it is controversial, but it just says people who feel that their physical gender does not match their true gender, and this will be the diagnosis. It will be gender identity disorder. Okay. Schizophrenia was removed? I don't think so. I mean, yes and no. They just put it into subtypes. So schizophrenia wasn't specifically removed, like the whole entire disorder wasn't removed. Schizophrenia will never be removed from the DSM. Instead, it's like they kind of tweaking it. So they now compartmentalize it. So first you needed to have delusions and hallucinations and blah 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 in order to be diagnosed. Now you just need to have one or the other. Either you can have delusions or you can have hallucinations, or they can be whatever kind of, not hallucination, but they can be audio, they can be visual, etc., etc. So the subtypes of schizophrenia are considered paranoia or paranoid, disorganized, catatonic, undifferentiated, and residual types. That means when they're not really showing the symptoms. Um, so yeah, they just make it more. To me, I didn't like it when they changed it because okay, so for example, first it was just schizophrenia. Now it's schizophrenia, paranoid, catatonic, and blah blah blah, and then this subtype and that, and so they added like 10, 20 different elements to it, each section, and it just gets more and more and more diluted, like too much to remember. It's crazy. So now that one diagnosis is now split up into seven, and then that seven has like either it's residual or not residual, and yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to diagnose somebody. So let's see what else are kind of like common, popular. Let's see, you know, it just these are the most popular things that are coming up. Again, they say the worst mental illness gets worse with age. What do you think? I think there are two components. Kind of yes, and two, well, if you treat it or not. If you work on it early on and get the proper help, then it won't get worse. I don't see what age has to do with anything, but it does say here that bipolar disorder may get worse if it's left untreated. I think also bipolar is very dangerous. I'm sorry, not bipolar. Schizophrenia is very dangerous if it's not addressed early on. What is the most biased disorder in the DSM? Sociocultural stuff. That must be part of the um we call those sections. I can't think of it, but they're not real diagnoses. So let's see, what else would you like to know here regarding the DSM? I've been talking about 20 minutes, which is pretty good. I think it's a lot, and even though this is not the best, it's better than nothing. At least I'm showing my face to you guys. I will definitely try. Oh, my arm is sore. Oh my god, I'm sore. I need to like stretch. I think I need to call it a night. A night. I couldn't find anything good to watch on TV. Don't you hate that? Finally, I have time to just Netflix and chill by myself, and there's nothing to chill to. I tried, let me tell you. I tried watching a new show on Netflix, actually, was it the other day? Called New Amsterdam, and I only watched it because I thought, oh, it's about Amsterdam. Maybe it's filmed in Amsterdam. I get to see some beautiful footage of, old European buildings, which I love. It would be kind of like traveling through Netflix on my TV. But no, it was filmed here in LA, not LA, I'm sorry, New York, and I'm like, yeah, but okay, but I thought, okay, let me give it a chance, They said it's a hospital called New Amsterdam, which was named after, I guess, a hospital in Amsterdam. And so it was kind of going okay, and then in the first scene, the first episode, before they even finished the first episode, there was a comment a guy made to a girl that was related to race, and I just got so turned on. I didn't like it. I thought, wow, they so hung up and so obsessed about the race here, and that's exactly why I didn't want to watch anything from America, because it's like this obsession, and it's just crazy. I don't want to get dragged into that, and that is a predictive programming show, not predictive programming, but a programming show to program people to be obsessed about that and make a problem, an issue out of something that shouldn't be in the first place. So, yeah. Tell me what kind of shows you like. I like detective type stuff, psychological thrillers, more of the serious stuff. Okay. So, what is a weakness of the DSM system? No addition of DSM is without its weakness. The most cited problem is that the categorization and typing of disorders by symptom places a stronger emphasis on the most obvious or outwardly visible symptoms, neglecting potential underlying causes or less visible symptoms, whatever the hell that meant. That was just a bunch of we will call it world salad. I'm sorry. We will call it a word salad. You don't know what a word salad means. That's now obsolete word, which used to be used to refer to somebody who was having a psychotic episode, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and they'll just be like, babbling on and jumping from topic to topic all over the place. They would call it a word salad, which sounds a little corny, I guess. That's why they don't use that word anymore. I know, so word salad. Don't use that because that means you're kind of calling that person schizophrenic. So anyhow, now we kind of use the word or the term pressured speech, and that term is used mostly towards people who are having like a panic attack or having anxiety or having a like anxiety attack. They may have pressured speech. Also, it can happen if you're having like a bipolar episode too. Okay. Oh, here we go. Personality disorder. Ooh, yeah, we forgot about that. They used to have a whole section for personality disorders. And yes, my professors, they were so bad. We used to call them access to. They were access to, like, ooh, stay away from those access to, that kind of stuff. That's kind of how they used to tell. That's how they kind of trained us. They were like, oh, access to alert. But anyhow, that was one of my professors because, I don't know, she had a private practice and she said she always kind of like was very cautious to take anyone who was on access to because she said they were more liable to sue you. Because it's like one minute they love you, next minute it's like, oh, you're the worst therapist ever. It's kind of like that kind of thing. But they took that whole section out. Why? I forgot why in particular, but I really love that. I just love the word access to, access, one access. Yeah, I forgot they took that out too. So, yeah, a lot of changes. Yeah. So here it says critics of DSM-5 argues that expansions of diagnostic criteria may increase the number of mentally ill individuals and are pathologized. What? Pathologize, whatever that word. Oh my God, I'm so horrible. I'm having a word salad. It's okay. I don't use that word. Normal behavior. Okay, I understand. So they're saying we are making normal behavior seem abnormal. Abnormal is the opposite of normal. I really love abnormal psychology because they said there's no such thing as normal. So don't worry, we're all perfect in God's eyes. It says here, and lead to a possibility that thousands, if not millions, of new patients will be exposed to medications, which may cause more harm than good. Okay, I understand. But correlation doesn't cause causation. That was my favorite thing I learned from statistics, is that just because someone has a mental disorder or mental illness doesn't mean they have to take medication. You don't have to do that. It doesn't mean that, like right away you're going to be on meds. So, but that is a possibility that they could be maybe persuaded, not say persuaded, but I don't like to use that term, but not for the therapist, of course. Just put that leave out on the psychiatrist. What are the consequences of using the DSM incorrectly? Oh, I can tell you for sure. Very sadly, I had a guy that was in my group. He finally he felt like he had the proper diagnosis. All his life he thought, which probably was true when he was a kid. Maybe he was diagnosed with ADHD. So all this time he's thinking he has ADHD. So he's taking ADHD medication, and also he was engaging in self medication, meaning using outside substance abuse like marijuana, and not until later his like adulthood he found out I don't have ADHD, I'm bipolar. And some of the symptoms can seem similar, but as he had gotten older, they should have reevaluated. I think instead they just continue to give him that same um, prescription, etc. And so, what happens if you're not getting the right medication? You're not you're not able to balance yourself, and you like he was engaging in very dangerous behavior and doing lots of things he couldn't understand why, like having problems with the family, girlfriend, jobs, just everything was just all over the place. And so he was very grateful. He was such a good person, and he had some, I forgot what it was. I can't remember the name. He had some kind of illness that he said that typically people with it don't live till, I don't know, 40 or something, or like, which was so sad. I forgot what it was, but he told us about it. I googled it and it was true. It said in Google, on Google, or I don't know if it was something with the lungs, something really complicated. I can't remember, but yeah, that's so sad. Could you imagine knowing that, having, and maybe that's what played part of him being, all over the place. I would too if I knew I wasn't gonna live to a certain point and still be like a young adult. That's really, wow, it's freakish, and no one should have to go through that. And probably they should never tell him. Yeah, maybe, hopefully, there's a way that, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, he has a right to know, but wow, at the same time, it's horrible to know that. Which country has the highest rate of psych? Look, I don't even have to read this. Which country has the